In this video, I will show you how to organize all the photos in your computer in the easiest and fastest way possible. And we're going to do this by using an app that does all the organization for you using AI. This app is called Filelect and you can download it for free from filelect.io, which I have left a link for in the description below. So simply visit the website and then download the version for your operating system. And if you're wondering, it works exactly the same for both Windows and macOS. And then once you open it up, you will need to navigate over in the Organize section from the top left sidebar, which is going to bring you in this interface over here, where Filelect has two different modes. The Organize Now mode that actively organizes everything in real time, and the Auto Organize mode, which you can set and have Filelect automatically organize your photos for you without you even needing to open the app. But for now, let me show you how the Organize function works. So the first thing that you have to do is to actually come over here and choose the specific folder that you want to organize. Now, if you want, you can select your entire desktop, your documents folder, your downloads folder, or anything else in your PC. But for this example, I actually created a dedicated folder, which is called Photos, and this includes a bunch of different images that I randomly downloaded from Google. So what I'm going to do is I will simply select that folder, and then just so you guys can have an idea, I also opened it up in my PC to see what kind of images I have inside. As you can see, I have an image of a bear, an image of a friend group, a car, some images of people on the beach, some images of more animals, some images of different places on Earth, like the Eiffel Tower, this nice image of a sea, a coffee, and basically a bunch of random images that I want organized so they're not just randomly thrown in this folder. So to do that, I simply need to come back over to Filelect, and then I need to come over here in the Your Instruction box and simply describe in plain language exactly how I want them to be organized. For example, I could say, what I want you to do is put all the images of animals in a folder called Animals, all the images of that contain that are in a beach in a folder called Seas. I want you to put all the photos that have multiple people in a folder called Friend Group, and I want you to put everything else in a folder that's called Everything Else. And now that I'm done describing how I want that folder to be organized with a simple prompt, all I have to do is to simply come over here and click on the Generate Plan button. And now what this is going to ask me is whether I want to allow Filelect access to analyze these images with AI to figure out exactly what they contain. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I will simply allow it access and the analysis process will begin. Now this process takes around 7 to 10 seconds, so it's pretty fast. And then once Filelect analyzes them, it's going to give us this proposed organization plan, where as you can see, it basically created the 4 folders that were specifically mentioned, and if I actually open them up, I'm able to see exactly which one of the photos is going to go in those folders. As you can see, here we have all these photos inside the animals folder, here we have our everything else folder, which contains everything else basically, here we have the friend group folder, and here we have the Seas folder. Now if we didn't like something, we can simply come over here to refine plan and explain to Filelect what changes we want to make, and it's going to make those changes in our plan, but I personally really like my current plan, so I will leave it as it is. And once I want to apply this proposed organization, all I have to do is to simply come over here and click on the Apply Organization button, and then click on Move Files. And now my files will be moved based on that exact organization plan. And now, just so you guys can see, if I actually come back over here to my Photos folder, I can see that I currently don't have any photos outside, and all the photos that I had were put in those 4 different folders. Here, as you can see, we have the Animals folder, which contains all the animals that we have downloaded. Here we have our Friend Group folder, which contains all the images that basically have people in a friend group. Then we also have the Seas folder, which is exactly what we wanted, and over here we have everything else, which is basically everything else that didn't match our other criteria, which means that we literally managed to organize our fully messy folder with just one simple prompt. And what I really like about Filelect is that if you actually didn't like something from the organization that you did, you always have the option to click on History, click on the last organization that you did, which for me is this one, and then you can simply revert back to your original version. So now that I did that, you will see that if I come back over to my folder, everything was reverted back to how it originally was, which means that I always have the option to go back if I don't actually like the result. But that still isn't the most efficient way to do things, since in order for me to organize a folder which I constantly keep updating, I will need to open up Filelect and organize it through this section. But thankfully, Filelect also has the auto-organize section, where you can basically set Filelect up to automatically organize that folder for you, even if you have the app closed off. So how you can do that is by simply coming over here and clicking on the edit button, and then we need to add in a folder, so I will add in my Photos folder, and then as you can see, I have the option to again give instructions for how I want that folder to be organized. So I will come over here and say, hey, I want you to put the images of all the bears in a folder called Bears, the images of all the dogs in a folder called Dogs, the images of all the humans in a folder called Humans, the images of nature in a folder called Nature, and the images of everything else, put them in a folder called Bob. And now that I'm done with my instructions, I'm able to come over here and click on the options menu menu, and I will see that I have 3 different options. First option is to reorganize everything, which basically destroys any current folder structure that we have and does a fresh organization. Then we have the organize as is function, which applies our instructions to our current folder structure, and that can be very useful if you already have a folder structure that you actually like and you just want to organize your existing files without changing it. And then we have the organize new only, which is going to organize only the new files that we download in that folder, and it's going to leave everything that we currently have there intact. Now for this example, I would choose to go with the reorganize all, since I reverted my previous organization, and now I will simply click on save. And to set the auto organize feature to run, I simply need to click on the start button, and boom, as you can see now it is active, and it will go and automatically organize everything for me. As you can see, it already did that, and it created these 5 different folders, one which should contain the bears, one which should contain the dogs, another one which should contain the humans, nature, and one which should contain everything else. And just so you can see the power of this feature, if I go over to Google and I search for dog, and then let's say I want to download this dog over here, I click on save images and I save it inside my photos folder, then FileEct is going to take this image, analyze it, figure out that it is a dog, and it is going to put it inside the dogs folder. As you can see, it automatically moved it, I didn't do anything, and if I go over in the dogs folder, I will be able to see that the dog that we just downloaded is successfully inside. And the reason I really like FileEct is it doesn't actually need you to name your photos and images, since as you can see this image is called image 4823, literally has nothing to do with a dog, but FileEct analyzed it and understood that this is a dog and it should be put inside the dogs folder. And the same thing of course happened to all the other images that we have. So if you want to try out FileEct and organize all of your photos in seconds, make sure you click the top link in my description, you download it, and you start your 10-day free trial. And if for some reason you don't like it, you can simply cancel your trial and you will not be billed. So make sure you check it out by going over to fileect.io. But also YouTube things that you're going to enjoy this video, in which I show you how you can locate any file that you want in your PC using FileEct. So make sure you go and watch that next, and I will see you over there.